Morena tātou, everyone. Welcome this morning to the Ōtorohanga Rural Concept Plan hearings. Could we please start, Cassidy, with opening karakia?
Ka te kia ora tātou, e mihi ana kia koutou, ko whakarua ke mai nei te ata nei, ai ka tika me karakia tātou. Mā te whakapono, mā te tūmanako, mā te titiro, mā te whakarongo, mā te mahitahi, mā te aroha, ka tae e tātou. Kia ora tātou.
Kia ora, thanks, Cassidy. We have one apology this morning, and that's from Councillor Hughes. So I'd like to move that his apology be accepted. Seconded by Councillor Tamaki. All in favour? Carried. Thank you. We've got a couple of meetings this morning, so I'll be asking if there's any councillors or mana whenua that have to declare a conflict of interest in this morning's meeting. Everybody's fine there. That's great. Okay, moving on to item 2, which is the draft Ōtorohanga Rural Concept Plan hearing and consideration of feedback and submissions. I know this looks very formal for everybody sitting in the room here. Yeah, we're pretty relaxed. This is probably one of the more relaxed councils you're going to have, so just chill. It's fine. And we look forward to your submissions. So this morning, our first submitter is Kevin Jones, speaking on behalf of QQ School. And Kevin, you have 10 minutes, and with 5 minutes to go, you will, the bell will ring, Nadia will push down here with conviction. So you hear it, don't be scared. It's just a bell, okay? So councillors, if we can go to page 18 of your agendas, and that there is the page with the submissions on. Over to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I was a bit nervous when I saw all the people here. I think I probably get more nervous at school talking to parents at times. So tēnā koutou katoa. On behalf of the QQ School Board of Trustees and our school community, thank you for allowing us to seek funds for resurfacing our school car park. I'm Kevin Jones, the principal of QQ School, and with me are QQ School Board members Carl Morrow, Charlie Telfer and Russell Thorpe. Today I'll be discussing just 3 main areas, our car park usage, a little bit of history, and also an investment in our car park. So firstly, who uses our school car park? Twice a day, 2 school buses drop off and collect our students. One of these buses also includes Ōtorohanga College students from Puketarata and Mangoro roads. Approximately 103 of our 150 students arrive at school each day by car. This includes out-of-zone students and students who live too close to our school to receive Ministry of Education bus transport subsidies. 20 staff members work at our school each day. Rural delivery contractor, outside agencies, plus many local contractors come into our school. On the weekend, a basketball club uses our recreation centre for practices, winter sports seasons. The Ōtorohanga Football Club has used our rec centre in order to preserve the Ōtorohanga domain after heavy rain. The Ōtorohanga District Council Road Safety Coordinator, Rachel Stubbs, has used our car park for fatigue stops for motorists on several occasions, and it will be happening in the next few weeks as well. Trucks, camper vans, people passing through, and recently a road sealing crew used our car park to keep their trucks and machinery off the main road during sealing work. For many events such as sports days, agricultural days, celebration assemblies twice a term, our major fundraiser, the fireworks night, which brings local and outside families and friends together. Just a little bit of history around our car park. Our school has tried to repair the car park where possible, but has proved ineffective. The car park is partly owned by both the Ministry of Education and Waka Kotahi. Unfortunately, neither party will fund repairs for the car park for a number of reasons, including that MOE will only fund buildings and infrastructure, and Waka Kotahi suggesting options such as gating and bollards, which are not practical and would not allow others in the community to utilise the car park as outlined above. This could cause additional road safety concerns. We've always believed that our car park has been used as a lay-by for many years, but Waka Kotahi would not recognise this. We've always been reluctant to deter vehicles from using our car park, especially trucks and travellers, as drivers need to take a break for the safety of others. We also sought advice and support from an Ōtorohanga District Council roading engineer a few years ago. The advice we received was to calculate the depreciation of our car park and set aside funds in a separate account. This would allow for the big cost of repairs and reseals every 5 to 10 years. Our board has worked really hard to set aside depreciation funds for asset replacement. Unfortunately, this has been difficult with the amount of money we've received through operational funding. Our main focus and priority is, as it should be, student welfare and achievement, and believe that the community funding by the council is vital. This will ensure the wider community uses for the car park and overall public safety is maintained and enhanced into the future. And just finally, our car park investment. We're excited to see that the QQ School car park repair is included as a project in the draft Ōtorohanga Rural Concept Plan. We note that the council is planning to work with schools and community halls to understand the maintenance needs for safe access and parking. We've done this work already and have received a quote and concept design from Informax to assist with this planning. We would suggest our resealing project as a pilot for the other similar projects that have been noted in the Rural Concept Plan. Our project will provide the council with useful information regarding potential costs, design and working collaboratively to achieve the council objectives for the Rural Concept Plan. We're in the unique position where our school has some limited time funding available to assist with this project. If successful with this proposal, our board is committed to contributing up to $10,000, excluding GST, towards a direct cost to resurface the car park. Our school board and community have some very capable and experienced people, meaning we'll also be able to provide in-kind support for the planning, procurement, and implementation phases of this project in collaboration with council. Our school board is also committed to the ongoing maintenance cost once the resurfacing has been completed. We're seeking a one-off contribution of $30,000 from the Ōtorohanga District Council to complete this project, representing 25% of the overall cash costs. We believe that this is an excellent investment opportunity for council. By assisting us with funding to reseal the QQ School car park, it will provide council with an early win with achieving the Rural Concept Plan objectives of resilient and connected communities, transport and accessibility, social wellbeing. I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to submit on the draft Ōtorohanga Rural Concept Plan. Kia ora koutou.
Thanks, Karen. God, that was right on the button.
She's just practicing.
Was it really 5 minutes?
It must have been, yeah, that's spot on. So what we do have is 5 minutes available for questions from those sitting around the table, of anything to do with your submission, Kevin. So thanks very much. Floor's open. Councillor Jeffries.
Thank you, Your Worship. Good morning, Kevin. Yeah, been a while. Kevin, you mentioned that you're seeking 30,000 from council being, did you say a quarter of the cost of the total?
The $10,000 that we could provide is a quarter of the cost for repair and reseal.
So the total cost being
Total cost would be around about $40,000.
40,000.
Yes.
Okay, yep. And the only other question I had was, I think you mentioned that you'd spoken to Ministry of Ed and Waka Kotahi, but Ministry of Ed indicated that they're not prepared to put any money into this.
No, once a survey was done by Waka Kotahi, we thought that the boundaries were inside our school because the road had been changed a number of years ago. So they got the survey done and then cut it right across the centre on a diagonal. So the ministry said, well, we won't be sharing any cost with them. There's been a bit of a battle, and also with Waka Kotahi as well. But understanding that, you know, that was a big cost for us at the time. So we've been patching to keep the holes and keep it workable. But we're at a stage now where it needs to be done, and we'll just keep that maintenance up.
Right. Okay. I thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Williams.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a couple of fact checks. The 103 of 150 students arriving by car, you said. So do you have any idea of how many vehicle movements that is?
No, not vehicle movements, but it is a lot each day, coordinating them coming in and out of the car park.
And that's only 100, that's only 47 tamariki coming by
103
bus.
students, but there'll be a number of a number of families with 2 or 3 students, but I haven't worked out the actual vehicle.
Okay, and so that's only 100, sorry, that's only 47,
that
not
that are right.
only, but 47 coming by bus.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
The other thing is, we've got another school in the area that sealed their car park and did it for vehicles, but the heavy vehicles have taken opportunity to use it, and because the base underneath it wasn't built for heavy vehicles, they suffer from a great deterioration in it. Is the car park there? Has it been built to take the heavy vehicles that you would be happy to have it use it as a labour?
In discussions with Inframax over a number of years, they've said that the 90% of the car park has got a good base. There's one area where we park, they would have to scrape out and compact. But they said overall we've got a good base, and the road used to be a former road as well.
That's right. And so the 40,000 would cover that, bringing the whole thing up to spec.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any further questions? No further questions. Kevin, I'd like to thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you very much.
Our next submitters to hear this morning, Tessa Honeyfield, Louise Davis and Joe Fox. I'm speaking on behalf of the Ōtorohanga Pony Club. And everybody that's on page 38, welcome, the lone wolf. Over to you. Push the right button on the mic. Yeah, that's the one. Thank you.
Okay, so that's hi, I'm Tessa Honeyfield, and I'm here on behalf of Ōtorohanga Pony Club in regard to the free public access to the Tippings Reserve. First off, I'd just like to thank the Ōtorohanga District Council for the use of the Tippings Reserve for the past 40+ years. It's a great venue for us to hold our Pony Club rallies, and there have been many members, past and present, who have got to enjoy this great spot. We treat it as we would our own property. We keep the grounds maintained, work in with the farmer who grazes the land, and make sure that everything is tidy and up to scratch. Our main concerns are outlined in our letter and are around the safety aspects of there being free access to the public to the reserve. There's already a large amount of rubbish and things such as whiteware and glass dumped around the reserve, in the metal pit nearby and in the river. The glass and other rubbish, if left on the reserve grounds, is a safety issue, as it could be dangerous to any people or animals who come across it without knowing it was there. And it's also not great for the environment and to have around there. We're concerned that our property, such as our equipment shed and the jumps, could be damaged and broken into. The gear in our shed is extremely valuable to us, and we use it in our rallies, for events, and to teach kids loads of different things. To replace it would cost us a huge amount of money, and some of it's quite unreplaceable. Unfortunately, some people do not respect such beautiful areas like this one, and having vehicle access to large grass areas would be too much of a temptation for some. The paddocks could end up being ripped up, jumps crashed into or damaged. It could then be a safety issue, and not knowing who was accessing the grounds and what they were doing there could be quite a safety thing for us and anyone else. With the way it is currently set up, we shut and lock the gates when we're not there. This keeps the paddocks and our equipment fairly safe. The gates, if they were no longer shut, sometimes when we have rallies or events, they could be left open by someone who wasn't aware of the policy, and an open gate with a loose horse or when the cows are grazing could mean that there's animals out on the road, and that's then a huge safety hazard for the public and anyone driving around the area at the time. The public can still access and enjoy the river, but we really do believe that it would not work well for there to be free access to the reserve, as there are just too many safety hazards that go along with it that would not be sufficiently minimised. We believe that the reserve is really well utilised by the Pony Club. It is used by a lot of local community members through our club, and alongside the farmer, we do keep the grounds looking good, and they're an asset for the council. Our club at present is really strong. We've got a great number of members and it's continually growing. We've got a fantastic team of supporters around us. And recently we've had some great successes. Our team won the North Island show jumping. We were third at our Timberlands event. And that's just been really awesome for Ōtorohanga Pony Club. And we've had a lot of past members engaging again with the club and congratulating us. So it's just been a really neat community thing to have. And we just believe that it really is in everyone's best interests to keep it as it is and for things to just remain the same. Thank you.
So thanks, Tessa. Any questions, anybody? Shows the quality of your submission, Tessa, doesn't it? Councillor Jeffries.
Just one, says good submission, thank you. How many members do you actually have?
Currently we've got 27.
You said,
Yes, yeah.
right, and it's just the pony club that uses it. It's not like it doesn't. Is it open to, or is it any approaches from, say, the riding for the disabled or anything like that?
Yeah,
to use it?
and
Yeah,
people like adult riding and things like that can use it at times, and also members, like riding members of the public, can contact us and go there as well. But they always just make contact and can
right. Do you get-
access the grounds.
do you get any ponies coming in from Carnarvon?
No, I don't think so.
We've got a few loose ones out. Yeah, no, thank you.
Thanks.
Councillor Johnson.
Yeah, just it's my understanding like half the reserve is private land, is that right? And the other half is council owned land and the canal is the drain is the boundary, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you never differentiate between your use as one
Yeah.
half, don't you? Okay.
No further questions. Thank you, Tessa. Thanks for your time. You're all more than welcome to sit around this. Those are the only two verbal submissions we're listening to today, but the point or stage we're going to now is to deliberate on the submissions on the rural concept plan. It's up to yourselves whether you wish to stay and listen to our thoughts on those. Otherwise, you're free to go. Thank you. Okay, Ross. Morning, Ross. So I'd imagine for clarity, we'll be going through the submissions in the order that they're presented on our agenda.
Yes, your worship.
Thank you. Over
So,
to you.
yes, thank you. So this part of the process, excuse me, is for members to clearly understand what the submitters are seeking and what changes, if any, should be made to the draft Ōtorohanga Rural Concept Plan. So we'll go through the submissions as they're presented in your agenda. And look, I'll be looking to you for direction around what changes you see being made to the document. So the first submission is in relation to, so this is an anonymous submission. Excuse me, and their comment is there wasn't enough information presented in the plan to comment on the proposed support to the upgrade or the development to the tier line. So as per yesterday's process, I will progressively move through these. If there are any questions or comments, we'll deal with those as we go. But certainly as we go, looking for any correction around changes. So in my view, that's a statement that someone's made. In my view, it doesn't trigger the need for a change in the plan. But if there are any questions or comments, we go.
Thank you, Ross. It's clear.
All right, second submissions from Natalie McMullen. So Natalie's submission focused on the preferences around which project should be advanced. So where there's a gap in the schedule, the submitter has focused only on the preferences, sharing their preferences around project priority. Moving on then, so the third submission and the 14th submission both relate to QQ School and their request for funding to reseal, upgrade and reseal the car park. So I will pause at this point just to make a comment around funding. So as per the conversation or the discussion yesterday, the concept plan process isn't one that determines funding. What it does do is signal the relative priority of projects, and this plan together with the Kawhia, Aotea and Ōtorohanga plan and Ōtorohanga town concept plan are all in the mix in terms of a prioritisation process for those actions for which funding or resourcing is sought. Resourcing part of the equation is through the long-term plan, and council is working through that process as part of its LTP hearing, submission, hearing, consideration, deliberation, and obviously adoption at the next month. But what the deliberations process here today might do is signal relative priority in the document, so that when the prioritisation process is progressed, there's a clear set of priorities that are coming through this planning process, for example.
Thank you, Ross. Look, in terms of the submission itself, I mean, there's for the school and for the use of the car park, there is a level of, let's say, urgency, but certainly priority. And, you know, without committing to anything, as you've mentioned, I think it could be of relative importance within the rural concept plan. The only thing which has been quite clearly pointed out to me, and it is absolutely correct, that we've got to be very, very aware of any precedent that's being set. So there'd have to be circumstances outside that of just being a school car park that would have to take consideration of. Any thoughts, Councillor Jeffries?
So thanks, Your Worship. Yeah, just a thought, as part of our response to the school, are we able to suggest, and I'm sure that there must be a list of funding providers that we can perhaps, if we're unable to assist them that we can actually point them to, like, I'm sure that there are other avenues for funding other than just the council. So is that an option?
Yes, thanks, Councillor Jeffries. Yeah, it is. And I mean, it could be also us facilitating further discussions with the likes of Waka Kotahi as well, where the school hasn't been able to make any traction. The fact that it is coming up a state highway would indicate that they do have some, they should have some input into the discussion anyway. Councillor Dow.
Yeah, just, I'm kind of wondering whether some of those, like the QQ school car park, but we provide parking in town for the college and the South schools. Like we do this, task all the streets. We task all the streets for lots of businesses in town. That they park, people go around town park, just wondering whether this should be our whole policy. I don't know if it's this rural concept plan or the long-term plan that, you need reasonable parking outside schools. It's a safety thing. And then there's also the area in the hall. I know there's support in the submitters to have that task outside the hall, should that just be in our roading budget, so to speak? I don't know. It's just, I'm kind of thinking, well, I'm a bit supportive of it, but yeah. I think it's, we've already provide parking around town for lots of things. Is that? Yeah. So.
A good starting point would be for us to highlight it in the concept plan as leading the first discussion would be about facilitating opportunity for the school as opposed to committing to funding for the school. That very reason that it does require further discussion, but it can be up there as of moderate importance for us, and whether that is ongoing discussions to start with the likes of Waka Kotahi or other funding possibilities. Does that work?
Yes, Your Worship. So you'll see in a number of places, whether it's schools, halls, play centres, a first step project is to understand the nature and extent of the maintenance and repair requirements. So I would see that as something that council would facilitate and do that in the near term. And then the information that comes from that, whether that then triggers council using its connections with Waka Kotahi or any other external agency for funding, or if council wanted to create a policy around how it might deal with these things in a consistent manner, that would be up to the council to determine.
Thank you, Ross. I like the approach. Councillor Johnson.
Yes, I agree with that. I mean, the wording is that is to work with schools and community halls to understand the maintenance needs. So I don't think we need to change the wording. It's there. I'm comfortable.
Yeah, because I just wanted to add on, because this might be just looking at it as a one-off to do it, fix it up for now, but in 10 years' time, the problem's going to be here again.
Well, that's
So I mean, I like the idea of having it in a consistent and. Yeah.
So I think this, a bit of research has to be done into it. Absolutely.
So just, this might be a technical thing, but in the plan that's online, we don't have any entries in the timeframes. Was that deliberate or?
That is not intentional.
Okay,
So if there isn't a tick in one of the columns relative to the action of the project, then that's an oversight. So certainly in other areas of the plan, there are we're looking at working with agencies, organisations, community groups, schools, and so on. The intention is to look at doing that in the short term and use that information to inform future action and activity.
no, okay, so in the absence of any ticks on the screen, we're just clarifying that it will be in short term.
Well, in this case, if it's exploring maintenance and repair needs, then yes, it would be a short term.
Thank you.
You, Councillor Christensen.
Yeah, I just want to endorse what you said, Mayor Max, about facilitating with Waka Kotahi, because I believe that they've got to actually take some ownership of this. So in saying that, if we all agree on that, what would be the time frame? Because it's obviously urgent that something happens with the car park, and we all know how things take a lot of time. Is there any way we can, like, outside of all of this, put a time frame on staff maybe working with what we're getting?
So we've had the discussion outside of here. Pretty hard to put time frame on. Councillor.
Just through you, worship, is it urgent?
The car park
Yeah.
falling apart and getting worse, and then it'll
Yeah.
probably cost more. Yeah, probably.
I'm talking, I mean, I guess my question around urgency is around health, safety and wellbeing, if it's still able to be used. I just sort of think if we start bumping projects up, we've got a fairness and equity issue with the Kawhia, Ōparo, Aotea plan, who may also argue that there's urgent things in there. So I just wonder if to keep a level playing field, we
Yeah, I
include
just
it,
thought because it was-
prioritise it and.
Yeah. An outside agency, Waka Kotahi, should be taking more responsibility, not us. That's what I was meaning.
Thank you.
So just on that, your worship, if I may, so Waka Kotahi have copies of the draft plans, so both this one and the Kawhia Aotea Ōparo, and they are aware, well, they ought to be aware from that, some of, around some of these issues. So in relation, for example, to the Ōtorohanga town concept plan, we are engaging with them directly on that as that have come through that process as priority actions.
Thank you, Ross. Moving on. You've got enough information there.
Yes.
Thank you.
Submission 4 from Charlie Telfer. So I guess it's a some cautionary advice around where we're signalling in draft plans around work on roads, walking, cycling paths, and so on, that the level of focus and what's to be proposed is appropriate for our community compared to other areas that have been provided as an example. So I will just comment here that at this stage there is no scoping, detailed scoping being done in respect to any of the projects. So once the prioritization process is worked through and we understand what projects are of higher priority, we will then generally work through a scoping exercise to determine the nature of and obviously the cost of delivering that project. And so that would include standard of delivery. So I guess that goes directly to Charlie's concern. At that point, we'll understand what the likely scope and cost and stem of projects will be. Submissions 5 through 10 inclusive, including Kim Burmister's submission, all focused on sharing their view of relative priority for project. Submission 11 and submission 13 that you heard from Tessa earlier both relate to the Ōtorohanga Pony Club. So the club are very clear about what they want. There isn't at this stage any plan to, aside from what's stated in the draft plan, to open the reserve to greater public access than there is at the moment. And there won't be any plan without the club being involved in those discussions. Just note that of the 2 reserve areas that are referenced in the plan, the Ōturu reserve, which is further up Ōtorohanga Road, is the one that has the concept design included and was the one we went through the process that we felt was more appropriate to look at enhancing public access and use of the reserve. It's a dock reserve. I've been engaging with DOC around that suggestion and that proposal, waiting to hear back in terms of their view on that.
Awesome, thanks. Thanks for that, Ross. Gives a bit of clarity to those that are still sitting behind us in the room there, so thank you.
So I didn't see a need to change the what's in the plan, but there may be different views around the room. That's that suggestion.
Can I just ask one question? You know how some of it's reserved, some of it's private. The drain that splits it is the side that has the arena and the shed, is that reserved? And then the other side's private. So even if in the bigger scheme of things, we decided to open river access, you're going through private land to get to the river because you can't actually get to the river on the reserve side because the banks are really steep. They use the other side, to get down to the river. Oh, you can use both now. When I was a member, you couldn't. Yeah. Cool. Right.
I mean, there is already public access to the river, pedestrian access.
Thanks, Ross. I don't think there's any different views in the room.
Thank you, Worship. So that takes us to submission 12, which raises concern about an area on Ōtorohanga Road, which I think locally is known as Tutu Reserve. So there have been some activities there which I've used the word antisocial, and the suggestion is to I guess open up access and manage access to that area to limit the activities that are causing concern. And there is actually there are discussions underway already in relation to that within council and involving local property owners, people from Fish and Game, for example. So I think there are some reasonably quick and straightforward things that can happen there, but are currently being explored.
Awesome, thank you, Ross.
So my suggestion is that we reference that reserve or that area in the plan as a way of making sure it's on the radar as it were. And then if there aren't any questions, comments about that, we'll just go to the last of the submissions. So this is number 15. So this is from the Department of Corrections. Essentially, they're asking two things. One is that, so this is on behalf of Waikiria Prison. This is the two things are referencing the prison itself in the maps, and then also including Waikiria Road and any future maintenance and road upgrades. So I'll just comment here that what we've done in the draft plan, as we've gone through the process, we've heard from a number of people around road related issues and opportunities. We've labelled those in the plan as business as usual. The intention would be that because consideration of things like road upgrades, repairs, realignments, all of those kind of development and maintenance things would be best considered as part of our roading program. We would look to take reference to those matters out of the rural plan, and that's why they've been covered in business as usual. just to, I guess, stay true to the fact that through this process, those things have been mentioned, and that's a way of ensuring we've captured those, but they will shift to out of the plan to the program. And whether they advance or not will be a function of the processes within the roading program, what funding is available.
Good, thanks for the clarity around that. Yeah, the following due process is obviously the most appropriate way to deal with roading, so thanks for the clarity.
So in terms of, of the two matters that the Department of Corrections have raised, the consideration as part of future upgrades to the road, I think would naturally go across into the roading program. The other question about referencing the prison itself in the maps within the rural plan document, that's a matter for this group to advise me.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm noting the significance of the infrastructure at Waikeria. I personally have no issue with noting it on the maps. But if there's differing views around the table, please, now's your opportunity. Councillor Darrell.
I don't, yeah, I'm just kind of thinking, I was thinking when I was going to subdivide, I was going to use an existing access road, I'd upgrade it, so I chose a different option. So wouldn't it part of their consent to they're expanding their prison that we would upgrade the road, or they would help fund it? Probably not do a plan, but wouldn't that be?
There's significant upgrades to Waikeria Road with the prison last development was going on, and I'm sure that'd be acutely aware of what's needed, especially at the stage.
Yes.
But and yeah, that again, that'll go part of the roading program. Whether there's any contribution from Waikeria Prison, one have to market another day.
Yeah.
Councillor Williams.
I'd support the inclusion. We are encouraging or we are supporting their work in recruitment and other things in the district. So, I mean, that's certainly a significant population, regardless of what brings them there. We need to acknowledge that they are contributing to our community.
Thank you. Second largest community in the district. Scabby.
Kia ora. And yes, I totally agree. I think that, and I recall that my father used to sit on the parole board for Waikeria, and used to come home and having identified a number of our own who are currently residing in prisons, and I don't believe that that situation's changed. So from my perspective, I think at a community level, I think having a formal relationship with the prison, with the Department of Corrections, noting of course that there is a workforce sitting there that we could be utilising at a community level, obviously managed projects that we would possibly consider. So that's the part of this submission that I'm particularly interested
To be clear, I was talking about recruitment of the workforce, not
the
the residents.
utilisation of the.
No.
Okay.
But so
certainly another
saying,
dimension.
that's right. And so saying the upgrades that are happening, particularly around mental health, I think can only be of benefit.
Thank you. Any further questions? Cool. So Ross, we're now, you've got enough information there on the submissions. Sorry, Councillor Johnson.
Yeah, sorry, just to clarify about the formalising the river access at Pony Club. I mean, so we're going to take that out. So it's okay. I mean, I can understand about 645 Road, but you know, the submission reflect they want to keep it as it is. So consensus is. Number that's what we're hearing. Yeah.
I think Ross said if we progressed it any further, we wouldn't do anything without collaboration with the pony club. Like, so it's staying as it is for now. It's just in there as, hey, we're not making it vehicle access.
That's your call to make. But we've heard through this process, from members of the community that they see that area as presenting an opportunity for enhanced access. In my view, that cannot happen and won't happen without a conversation with the pony club. So it may never happen.
It's just that we've lumped it in with the 45 on Chiba Road, and it's probably something. Not really something up there. That'll be a precedent for let's do it. Well, before we know we've got problems with the stock security and issues that they're raising.
So
The existing access is pedestrian.
yes,
Although that still involves climbing a gate.
over style. Yes.
Through you, your worship, do the Pony Club currently have a lease with council for exclusive use for the land?
No, my understanding is there hasn't been a lease in place for some time. So
I'm just a the concept of picnic area, etc. But the other, so it's got here. Parking, obviously. So, subdivision, sort of thing. But beyond the actually, see which and well, maybe it's it or other stuff. Everybody will check it. So it was, I think the environment stock heavy and also keep the stock security that covered and also the security for the jumps and so I'm just not remember that we don't want. I think we should be separated, not just lumped in the board.
Yeah, I agree with you. They shouldn't be lumped together. They're two totally separate areas. Although I would hate to go down the path of Pony Club doesn't have a lease, so we can do what we want. You've all seen from the letter the fly dumping that happens just outside the gate. So if vehicle access was allowed in that reserve, it would go further down the river. I personally would like it to stay as it is with just foot traffic, pedestrian. And if that can be put in there, leave it as it is. I think that would be, yeah, I would hate to see someone dumping rubbish further it down and ponies getting cut and kids swimming with their horses. Yeah, jumping into a washing machine. That's because let's be real, there's washing machines down there. Yeah.
Just another question. Sorry, I can't open the concept plan. It's not loading, and I can't remember. Is there some action in there around a rural reserves management plan? Did I see that in there or no? Was that the Carfield one? Sorry, so many plans. I can't remember what's in what. But are we looking at doing reserves management plans for our rural reserves?
From memory, there should be, because that was a consistent
I just wonder if that's a way that we could look at the use overall, and we could look at where we might want, club or kind of targeted use of specific reserves, where other ones we might want open, pedestrian access, vehicle access, what amenities we might need then, if we're looking at that.
I think that would be a better way to look at, with a consistent lens across the whole district.
if I may, just while Ross was looking at that, Councillor Prendergast himself met with, a liaison group on Mangatutu Reserve last week, if it was, Kathy. And that was one of the outcomes that was suggested to be a stage 2 of Mangatutu Reserve, so we look at an overall rural reserve management plan for our district. So that was one of the outcomes that came from that.
There is a stock taken review of rural reserves mentioned under amenity and community connections. I think in the interest of not excluding them from that review, that it stays in, it's only a look. Definitely only the foot access, and this way they're acknowledged in the concept plan and will be definitely part of future consultation.
Thank you. We found what time it was after.
Yes. It's on the page, I couldn't see it for looking.
Page 29. With those last comments from Councillor Williams, got enough clarity on that. Ross?
Yes, so thank you, Worship.
Any further discussion on those submissions, councillors?
So if I may, then, Your Worship, what I picked up is the 2 changes to the draft plan from the consideration of submissions is change to reflect Waikiria prison on the maps, and then referencing Mangatutu Reserve in the document.
Thank you. Awesome. So I think we've finished this meeting at the stage. Yeah. From your perspective.
So recommendation to
That's right. Sure, that'd be a good idea, right? So I haven't done this before. Okay, we have the recommendation that the Ōtorohanga District Council Hearings Panel receive and accept. No, that's the wrong part. My apologies. Seriously, should not have got up this morning. But having considered the feedback submissions received on the draft Ōtorohanga Rural Concept Plan, the Ōtorohanga District Council Hearings Panel recommend the draft Ōtorohanga Rural Concept Plan to the Ōtorohanga District Council for adoption with the following changes, which Ross has just mentioned. That we have Councillor Jeffries, second to Councillor Williams, all in favour? It's carried. Thank you, Ross.
thank you, Worship.
Councillor Willison, could I ask you if you could please bless us with the closing karakia? It's really at the end of the day. Cool. Thank you. So on that, I declare this meeting closed, and our next meeting begins at it's 3 scratches now, 10:20. So please take a 10:20. The meeting starts at 10:30, but this is obviously the preamble to that meeting.